Good morning. Let's have a look at this morning's news events first. We'll start off with actually just running through news. I say this morning's, but today's news events. Of course, the one thing you've got to bear in mind is if you've been living underneath a rock, you may not have noticed it's Black Friday this Friday. And before that, of course, and more importantly, there's Thanksgiving on Thursday, so it could turn to be a bit of a quiet week towards the end of the week, particularly from the US markets side of things. It normally is, but let's just look at how we're kicking off this week. Well, it's a very quiet day today. There are some speakers out there. I haven't got what they're speaking at the moment. There's no access to what they're actually speaking to. We've got the Bank of England article on financial stability. I think most of that's probably been said, so there's no real surprises in any of this. In fact, it's a pretty quiet day. Bailey's speech is not particularly a key speech or anything like this. So, as I say, a bit of a quiet day. We've got Reserve Bank of Australia meeting minutes coming through tomorrow, just to take that into account. But overall, quiet one. So let's look at the technicals. Now, I've flashed through these really quickly this morning, so please bear with me. It was really quickly. Now, the euro dollar then. Well, we've broken Friday's high there. We put a bullish engulfing bar in there on Friday. We've broken out the top of that. So it's a bit of a bullish sort of sign. It's not going anywhere. This is the 4-hourly chart here. It's already had a bit of a move up there. It's between a rock and a hard place in a sense. I would like it to come back and hit the previous highs and of course the daily pivot. Maybe the opportunity first thing. Whether we can get then a bounce off of this, we'll see for further upside. If it was to run up, either way, I'm looking at the bullish side. Once it's hit the pivot, I mean, it potentially is a short down to that pivot, but the risk reward isn't great on it. But if it does bounce off that, we can catch a bounce off of that maybe later on this afternoon. I'd look at it towards the R1, maybe even the R2. They're quite pinched, these pivots. If it breaks the R1 first, well then R2 would be the obvious. Okay, let's have a look at the pound. Again, bullish sort of picture that's sort of sitting here at the moment. The pound dollar is already running up. Problem we have is one, the quarterly pivot we're sitting into right at this moment, and two, once it breaks that, it's got a double top to contend with. It has already hit today's R1, so maybe a breakthrough of that will give us the R2. We'll see how things develop, but it is looking towards that bullish side with the caveat of the double top. US dollar yen. This has been correcting further. We've seen a decent move on this 4-hour session here. We've seen a continued lower highs coming through here. Has already hit the daily pivot. S2 has lesser chance, but saying that it's not that far away anyway. But this just looks like we've got more downside there on the US dollar yen. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar again is confirmed last week. It confirmed the higher low that's sort of sitting here on the dailies, and it's starting to, most of these markets are starting to push up. It has, however, run into a key pivot level that I've drawn on there previously. It's also got the quarterly pivot it's running into around about this level. Again, if these markets can break through these quarterly pivots, then we could see some decent price action running from there. We've already hit the R1, R2 here. Pivots are quite pinched. The ranges have been pretty tight. It has moved obviously through the Asian session there. Even get a bit of a kicker. Maybe we could be up towards the R3, if not today, tomorrow. US dollar CAD. A little bit lagging here compared to the others, whereas the others have made sort of confirmed the equivalent of this. Remember, it's inverted. It's the US dollar CAD. where they've made higher lows confirmed. This hasn't confirmed a lower high, which it should have, if it was as strong as. So it shows its weakness here. And I'm just sort of looking, firstly looking at that 4-hourly, whether it will come back and run into that 4-hourly pivot, and then we'll get a reaction to the downside potential. It's going to play catch up. It's already run into its S1 here, so on the shorter time frame, so S2, yes, previous week's lows there are a possibility if it runs down this way, but my preference, and I would be sitting here waiting for this a move back up towards the weekly pivot. If it just goes, it just goes. There's not enough in it really. New Zealand dollar continues on the upside there. Maybe it's becoming a bit more favourable, some of these markets, and well, this last week to see this did put a higher low in. Okay, it hasn't put a secondary higher low in, but looking pretty positive at the moment. Again, of course, the potential is that we just run into these resistance points. So we've got these sort of resistance points sitting across most of these majors. So it'll be a key tell today. If we can break those, that will suggest the dollar softening further. Higher lows through here on this lower time frame, already through the R1, R2. Nothing really there for me to be trading this morning. Swissy strengthening against the US dollar here. See again, it's broken the previous lows there, looking more positive, although has consolidated after over the last few days. There, most of last actually, I'm just looking from Tuesday onwards. Really, just went into consolidation mode. It's slowed up there, and well, makes it very choppy. Although after a decent consolidation, we might catch further downside, but it's not looking the best out there at the moment, so probably worth just keeping a check on it, but could set some alerts on it. Euro yen, it's not far from its highs here. There's potential that could roll over. It's sort of more shaped in that way than anywhere else. Finally, Euro CAD here this morning continues to push up. This is the one I'm trying to jump on board most days if I can. Again, it's up towards double top territory on the short time frame. This has done many double tops though, so it's sort of got the scope here. I would be looking for a reaction of a retracement today off its pivot there. If we can see if it can retrace it, if it just breaks it, I'm not interested, but if we can get a little bounce off of that and take the next bar basically. Okay, that's pretty much it for the Forex at the moment. I'll be doing more analysis in the room in a short while. Aside of that, let's have a look at gold. Gold had been pitching up quite nicely again. Slid back on Friday a tad, but maybe that's the retracement. Okay, there's the retracement I want. I'll pop the alert on it right this moment. So there's the retracement. I would really like for again, we'll look for a reversal on that level, around that level on support for a continuation. Has slowed up a little bit here. It's sort of stretched its legs a little bit, maybe a little short term. Well, I don't know. It's not looking like it's done too much here, so that would be quite a nice point. May have some limitations, but we'll probably break those. Okay, crude hadn't been having such a good time. It's picked up at the end of last week there, Friday, with the inside bar, and we're seeing a bit of a bounce here, but it's still, well, break back below its weekly pivot here, and quarterly S1 could shape up further downside, but at the moment I wouldn't want to be shorting it as it looks at the moment. It needs to come down, breaking these levels. We'll see what it does later today. Yeah, that's oil. And finally, it's just a quick look at these equity markets there, and they're still consolidating. And I get the feeling with this week, there is some durable goods and the flash manufacturing data, and services data. That comes in on Friday, so it will be met by a much smaller audience on Friday. The data for the US. We could well just see ourselves sitting there. More it holds up here, the more chance it's likely to break through there. I'm not overly bullish fundamentally, but technically it's showing its hand, and you can only do what you can see. You try and impose your will or your thoughts of potential weakness on the market. Well, that's not going to make any changes to it, is it? It's all down to the technicals, and at the moment, as with the German index here, the DAX, it's either consolidating, or in the case of the DAX here, it's been pushing up pretty solidly. I mean, last week, well, last couple of weeks, it's been actually flying along really here, the DAX. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some consolidation around these highs here. I was looking Friday whether it got up that far. That might be what we get, but I've not really got trades off those at the moment, or that market. The pound, if it could turn around this morning, today, break that pivot, the again quarterly pivot, get back through that, maybe it's got a chance of a continuation. However, you can see it's got its weekly pivot sitting just below here, which too could be a bit of a target. Okay, and finally, I'll just zip across, because I looked at it last week and I feel like I should look at it this week, is Bitcoin. And well, I was just really wanting to see where we are in relation to the yearly pivots there. It reacted again the second time there. Are we going to get another move towards it? Well, we are getting a move towards it. It's whether it can break it this time. It has the scope, if it breaks it, to push up decently. Daily perspective, it's looking quite healthily. It's sitting there, it's found some support on its on the pivot there. Just see how that moves today, but it looks like it's got some upward potential. Okay, that's it for me today. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you in the morning. Take care, have a good one. Bye for now.